Hey everyone, Romeo here, a fellow Spanish language learner. In this video, I want to talk about something a lot of us Spanish learners do. We often ignore our own results. And I don't mean that in a vague motivational way. I mean, we say we want to speak Spanish, but then we spend most of our time doing things that don't actually make us speak Spanish. We listen, we read, we watch videos, we review vocabulary, and we even study grammar. And all of those things can help, but if speaking is still the weak point after months or years of study, then we should stop acting surprised that activities that didn't make us speak didn't make us better at speaking. That result is telling us something. When we rarely force ourselves to retrieve Spanish, build sentences, and say them out loud, speaking is obviously going to be slow, awkward, and fragile. That's not mysterious. That's the routine doing exactly what it was designed to do. And this is where we have to be more honest with ourselves. When we freeze during basic conversations, that's feedback. When we understand a sentence when someone else says it, but we can't build the same kind of sentence ourselves, that's feedback. If we know the grammar rule on paper, but it disappears when we try to use it, that's feedback. So the problem isn't that we lack feedback. The problem is that we keep ignoring it. Oftentimes, we simply explain it away. We tell ourselves we just need more input, more time, or another book. Or we tell ourselves we just need to keep listening to Spanish until everything finally clicks. But if we keep doing those things and speaking is still weak, then the answer probably isn't to keep doing more of the same things that clearly haven't fixed the problem. The answer is to train speaking more directly. At some point, we have to produce. We have to answer questions. We have to translate thoughts. We have to form sentences out loud. We have to confront the exact moments where our Spanish breaks. That's how we find a real weakness. And once we find it, we have to stop ignoring it. I even did this myself. Back in December 2025, I took sentences from Complete Spanish Step by Step, translated them into English, and then challenged myself to convert them back into Spanish. One weakness showed up immediately: double object pronouns. Sentences like I gave it to him, or she sent it to me, or they explained it to us. I understood the grammar. I even studied the concept. But when I had to produce those sentences myself, I slowed down. That was the result. And months later, I still struggle with those structures more than I should. Not because the concept is impossible, but because I saw the weakness then and still chose not to drill it consistently enough, even after identifying the problem. I just admitted the problem and kept moving, hoping that my next grammar workbook would magically fix it. That's not a strategy, that's avoidance. If a sentence pattern keeps breaking, we must train that sentence pattern. If a structure keeps slowing us down, we must drill that structure. And if a conversation keeps exposing our same gaps, at some point we must stop pretending that another 100 hours or unrelated input is going to fix it. It might help, but the direct correction is to practice the skill that keeps failing: speaking. That's why we should stress test the advice that we follow. If someone says watching more Spanish will make you speak better, then watch 10 minutes, turn it off, and try to explain what you heard in Spanish. If someone says reading more will make you speak better, then read a section, close the book, and try to say the same idea out loud. You don't have to reproduce it perfectly, but if you can barely say anything, then the activity that they recommend that you do to help speaking is not doing enough for speaking. That distinction matters because a lot of us are not actually stuck. We're just training one thing and expecting a different result. If we want to get better at speaking, we need to build more of our routine around speaking. Not just random conversation where we survive for 20 minutes and forget what happened. Deliberate output, translation drills, retelling what we heard, answering questions out loud, repeating weak structures until they become easier to access. And then also using a system that forces us to produce Spanish, get feedback, correct the weakness, and repeat. That's exactly why I built Structured Recall. It's not a passive review tool. It's not another grammar course. And it's not just another flashcard deck. It's a spoken recall system designed to force the part of Spanish that a lot of us keep avoiding.
You always wrote the message after the meeting. Tú siempre nos escribías el mensaje después de la reunión.
Tú siempre nos escribías el mensaje después de la reunión.
Correct. We usually told her the plan during the meeting. Nosotros generalmente le decíamos a ella el plan durante la reunión.
Nosotros generalmente le decíamos el plan durante la reunión.
Correct.
You see the English prompt, You try to say the Spanish out loud and you check whether the meaning came through. And then you compare your answer to the reference Spanish and you mark it and keep going. That's the loop. You produce Spanish, you get feedback, you find a weakness, and you correct it and repeat. That is how the result changes. So yes, keep listening if listening helps you. Keep reading if reading helps you. Keep studying grammar if grammar helps you understand the system. But stop pretending those activities will solve your speaking problem if your own results keep saying otherwise. Your results are not insulting you. They are directing you. The goal is not to defend a method. The goal is to learn Spanish. And if the method is not producing the result that you want, the method needs to change or at least be supplemented. That is not failure. That is correction. And correction is how serious learners get better. Anyway, I hope this video gives you something to strongly consider the next time your results are telling you what part of your Spanish still needs work. And if it did, be sure to give this video a like. And until the next video, good luck on your journey to building more functional, usable Spanish. Peace.